I want to show you now how to make modal chord progressions because this is vital. This is just one way to make modal chord progressions. It's not the only way. But this is a simple way and I think you'll grasp it pretty quickly. If you know your 1-4-5 chord progression, here's 1-4-5 in the key of C. C, F, G, C. Now you'll notice that there's only one place in a major scale where you have two major chords a whole step apart. Or two frets, however you want to look at it. F and G, if I was just to play F and G, you could recognize that that was the 4 and 5 chord. Because they're a whole step apart, they have to be the 4 and 5 of C. So if I was to play, for example, this is D and E. The two triads, two major chords, a whole step apart. That must be 4 and 5 of A. Another example, B flat. B flat and C are a whole step apart, must be the 4 and 5 of F. Now remember this information, we're going to use this for every mode. In each case, we're going to take the 4 and 5 chord from the major scale that we're talking about. But there's one more thing you need to know. We're going to use a pedal tone, the same bass note under these chords, but that bass note in each case is going to be the root of the mode. And I'll come back in a few moments and show you the very first chord progression major scale and how to construct that using the 4 and 5 idea. But first, let's just look over here at our chart and look at exactly what our major scale is, okay? Over here we can see that C major equals C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and the formula is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Major scale is a fundamental for all music theory. It's essential to know how a major scale is constructed, because each of our modes is going to be directly compared with these, because we're going to have every mode beginning on C. This is a vital ingredient missing from the discussion of modes and the teaching of modes. We're going to make sure that they all start on the same note. So here's C major. Here's what it looks like on the guitar. Everybody knows this. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay, now let's go over to our chart for a C major. Now this is how I look at the major scale on the fretboard. Sooner or later you're going to need to look at your entire fretboard as one scale. And to do this, you write out your intervals on the entire neck from a given root. In this case, it's every circle with the 1 is a C note. And you can see over the entire fretboard the relationship to the root of all these intervals from C. So this is C major. Every 2 will be a D, every 3 will be an E, F, etc., etc. That's how you should be looking or beginning to look at your fretboard. Some people think that a certain position is a mode. That's not correct. Whatever mode you're thinking about should cover the entire fretboard. And if you have the modal chord progression underneath you, it'll make it even more evident to your ear that every note on that fretboard is that particular mode. Now let's figure out how to make a C major chord progression, because that's what I'm going to be playing over in a few moments. Remember I said we need a 4 and 5 chord? What is the 4 and 5 of C? We're in the key of C. 4 and 5 would be F and G. Now in some cases you can use the 1 chord also. In fact, in this example, I'm going to use all 3 triads. The other ones are just going to be 4 and 5, but this is more fun, more musical to use the 1 chord also. But the important thing is to use the pedal tone to really zero in on the sound of the root of the mode. So I'm going to use a C bass. That's the root of the particular mode. C is going to be underneath all these chords. So the chord progression is going to be C with a C bass, G with a C bass, and F with a C bass. This is how it sounds. Okay, we've all heard this a million times. This is what it looks like. I'll pull up a chart for that. C, a G chord over a C bass, F chord over C bass. Now, I'm going to play example number 1 for you. This is going to be just the notes of the major scale. Everything I play will be just C major, covering the entire fretboard, okay? Let's have a listen to it. I've got a little backing sequence that you might enjoy.